What's up, everybody? It's your boy Richard Graves, the Richard Graves Group, on our History of House podcast. Today we have the one and the only Corky Traxman Strong. I've been looking forward to having a conversation with him. A lot of you guys know him. He's very big personality in the scene of house music here in Chicago. Knowledgeable, knows a lot about what went on, what about the 80s and the 90s, and even up to now. So without further delay, let me bring on my boy Corky. What's up, brother?
How you doing, brother Rich?
All right, good to see you. Thank you for the music you've been sending that I've been getting from you, man. You got some good stuff, bro. I'm about to do some mixes this week. I'm going to incorporate a lot of stuff in. Your stuff is always hitting. Like, we talked about being, from the West, even though we was out a little further west and you out in Aurora, we kind of get down a certain way. We like making our presence known when we're mixing, and you got those type of tracks. You make your presence known. So without further
big shout out to Aurora, Mike Hitman, and everybody out there.
Thank you, brother. Without further delay, man, people want to know, people want to hear about you, man. Tell me when you started spinning and how you started spinning, house music. Tell me how that happened with you.
Okay. I started spinning around the end of '81 from a crew at that time called the Fantastic Five, which consists of DJ Al, DJ Bo, another brother by the name of Master J, and at that time an unknown brother by the name of Edward Frost. And they were all playing together, and my uncle knew them. And around this time, I think WBMX was coming to hard existence, was playing dance music. Now, at that time, the music, from my knowledge of it, was not considered house. It wasn't even house music, from what I know. So at that time, we were playing, we call it post-disco. Post-disco is like all the prelude, the Celso, the West End, stuff. Is all of my favorite company. Can't Have You Kicking Either too. A lot of stuff like that, or body music by the Strikers and Disco Circus Craft and stuff like that. So that was the stuff that I was dealing with, and those were the people who actually taught me, which I hadn't known, but they really furthered the situation.
And I think that was something I think you and I talked about that, man, the post-disco music, the stuff that influenced us mixing. Obviously, the Hot Mix 5 was on BMX. They were playing the Italo disco stuff, the B-boy electro stuff. They were playing the Boogie Down Bronx and, Watch the Closing Doors, all that stuff from New York, Man Parrish and Arthur Baker, Jelly Bean Benita stuff. So we rocked all of that. And I'll say that what I recall is when we get to around maybe 84, we start seeing some of the homegrown stuff from Chicago. I know the guys in Detroit had made like Let's Go, Trans X-Ray. And, On and On came out, and that's a discussion about, what it did. Now, from where we're from on our side, it was more, not so much On and On, but those tracks, the DJ, 119, we banged those. And then I remember, of course, Farley with Funkin' with the Drums, the first one, with Jack and the Bass. And then, of course, Chip came out with Time to Jack in Its House. And that's kind of with us, we were still b-boying, bro. I mean, when On and On was out and the other stuff that Jesse and them did, Come to Me, by Gwendolyn and
Gwendolyn.
We were b-boying to that. We were breakdancing to it, real talk. We weren't really calling anything house until when I heard Time to Jack. That's the one that really kind of, when I heard Time to Jack, when I heard Chip's Time to Jack in Its House, okay, something different. Of course, the radio was reflecting it. Hot Mix 5 started playing it. I was hearing it when I would go to Dilligab's out west, out in Addison here, Julian, when it was Galaxy, or when we were over at Main Street, USA, or coming out, to the west side, to different things, parties that people were having. Even though I noticed on the west side, you guys, when we come out there, we was banging tracks, man. We was jacking the house. It was about. I remember hearing Jack the bass for the first time, and we were dead serious about beating the brakes. When we got on them tables, we wanted to hurt somebody. Guys out south would be a little smooth about it. We was like Jack, Jack. We wanted to tear something up. So when did you start playing that stuff, and where were you playing it at, bro?
West Side Chicago. Um, that's funny with the on and on thing that they're now celebrating 40th anniversary of it. And I will say, rightfully so, I give it that because um, house music had its start and it was something totally different. It wasn't the Italo stuff. It wasn't the electro dance stuff. This is what we what you were saying with the Boogie Down Bronx, all the Tommy Boy, Sugar Scoop, all that stuff. That music with us, I can't really speak for the people who were going to those parties and what a couple of years older than me, like we were like time Boogie Down Brothers came out, which is what 83, 84. I'm 13, 14 now. And a lot of the homeboys, we wasn't really definitely wasn't into what was going on. If anything, if it was a warehouse, like we heard mentions of these things or even stories we did not know about. Really didn't care. And not to slight it, what I'm saying, because we were getting our music from WBMX, from the Hot Mix 5 at that time. So we were playing I'm the DJ on Mitch Ball, rest in peace, Mr. Mitch Ball. Gwendolyn's joint you just mentioned.
Come to me. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Gwendolyn on Precision. And we were breakdancing to all that stuff. Yes, on and on tracks too. We were backspin to it. And we really didn't play that song. Didn't like this at all. Now, the B side with the 158, 119, I'm the DJ, 18, all that stuff. We would play that with Girls Solo and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, the Girls Solo.
You gotta remember at that time, 84, that was everything was really John Roby and Arthur Baker crazy.
Oh yeah.
Electronic. So we know even with that that music was really important to till 85. Now 85 is when we started to see, well, not here, the phrase house. I don't know what it is. I didn't know what it was. I'm at my cousin's crib and I heard his house. Now, what's funny about that is when I first heard his house, I didn't like it. I came in there, I didn't like it. But I mean, I'm in love with the track now. But it was something about Time and Jack.
That mug, that's the one that hit me. Boom, boom. Time to Jack. Yeah, when that mug went, time.
And so the patterns was like, oh. And like, I really like this record. Didn't know that his house was the same 12 inch. Didn't know. The next week, I went and bought it at the MP flea market on Madison and Glasgow when we had record shops down there. And the homeboy hit. And I bought the orange and black writing, the first pressings of it. Mm-hmm. And for some crazy reason, one of my guys, my man DJ J, Lil J, he had a Graver. And we traded. And I'm like, I just like that gray color.
Yeah, I had that one. The gray with the black letters.
For my orange and black. Mm-hmm. Little did I know that's the original pressing I had. And he still has that record to this day. I told him, man, you want to trade that record back? I actually found 2 copies of the orange and black. but the gray I still had it with the white re-edit one from off DJ International. But house music, that's when we started to hear it from jack tracks. But let's not forget Funky Drums,
Yeah,
house records with Farley Funk and Keith at that
that
time,
was.
and he changed it to Jackmaster. But that's when we bought Jack the Bass.
Hmm.
Virgo Go Wild tracks, Vince Lawrence and Marshall Jefferson, like one of the main EPs that's really not talked about.
Oh, that was critical.
Yeah, we'll go back to his house and maybe even J.M. Soap's Music is the Key,
Music is the key.
because these were the main records. But also in Detroit, No UFOs came out too.
Oh yeah, I remember No UFOs.
Metroplex and Juan Atkins and all those guys.
Juan Atkins, yeah.
And the next year, that following year was Derek May and Rhythm's brother
Oh, New Photo.
with the dance, the photo.
Yeah, the photo, the dance.
But 85 was the
85.
year of house music. Because remember, song Your Love.
Mm-hmm. So Jimmy Principle.
I used to always hear it. Of course, we would go look for it. My uncle's going crazy because he's like, man, when is this record? We go if the radio's playing it, then that would come out. This new label called Trax Records, another label called DJ International. It's coming out. But Precision never came out.
I remember that you brought a good point when we're talking about playing that Girls by Solo. That's when I first heard house music because I remember breaking the Girls, right?
Okay.
And the DJ's playing, the dub version. When it does that, and next thing I'm hearing Time to Jack. He's blending it. I'm like, what in the hell is that?
Playing those records together.
I'm like, what the hell is that? Because it threw us off. And that's when we knew, okay, this is house, And when you get like to 85, you brought up Your Love on Persona. I remember getting Waiting on My Angel on Persona Records. And then Marshall and Adonis. Adonis came out with No Way Back. Marshall came out with the house music anthem. That kind of changed the game too when that dropped. Prior, I would say what would hit hard after Steve did Music is the Key, Chip did Like This, was when Larry did Mystery of Love. Mystery of Love dropped, and that hurt some feelings when Mystery of Love dropped, man. I'll never forget hearing Mystery of Love. I think the first time I heard it, Steve Hurley was playing it. And it was just, we knew it was Chicago. That's when it was house, Like I said, I agree with you. When On and On came out, like I said, we were still breaking to that song.
And if you not the country, and if you look closely at the On and On EP, like I said, one of the greatest EPs that show us non-musicians how to make music in a totally different sound. But if you look closely at that EP, there's nothing on it that says house nor jack.
Wow.
If you look at all the just say 12 inches, all of them, from On and On, Funk You Up, Real Love, It's Okay. None of them never ever said house mix, house, or jack king. Never have. Why? Because this is what story I get, but now it makes sense. That Jesse wasn't trying to be that type of artist. Jesse was trying to be more on the Prince side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Beat dance, which is no problem. And if you look at, as you see, look at the 12 inch now, produced, arranged, performed by Jesse Saunders, and of course, the big brother Vince Lawrence. Shout out to Vince Lawrence. Nothing on that record says house. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. Now we don't start seeing the word house until you go to pull up Funky with the Drums, Farty Funky Kids.
Oh yeah, House Records.
House records. This is when you start to see the word coming to the lexicon of sayings. Wasn't saying it. We wasn't even hearing that on WBMX on the Hot Mix 5, not even GCI, not even Audio Night Live with my Walter Get Down Brown and Brian Frazier and all those guys. Shout out to them. Remix Roy, Hugo, and all those good guys.
Right. And there we go. And there House Records.
House Records. This is when you start to see the phrase house.
You see here, Jack in house.
Jack in house.
Funking with the drums, pumping the bass, Jack in the bass.
Jack in the bass.
And that was the one we used to kill.
We used to see
Jack in the bass.
My point is, you start to see the phrase, the wording. We throwing out that throw up chippy Jack tracks.
Okay.
And this is when you really see. This is when now with the funk with the drums was mainly rhythm tracks.
Right.
One of the dopest EPs that come out as far as kicking off the genre of that style. But we start to hear it when you heard Jack tracks. It's house time, Jack. House. It's dub. And the patterns, So now there's words to these beats now.
There we go, right there. And we're looking at the Jack tracks, of course.
As you see,
House Records. Mirage featuring Chippy.
Jack tracks. It's house.
It's house.
And to Jack. House energy.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. So
yeah, I mean, there's no taking it away from that.
And again, this is not to knock Brother Jesse, and Brother Jesse get well. Our prayers go out to him. He suffered a mild stroke, and we want our prayers and everything to go to our big brother. But that was the precursor. On and On tracks is just the precursor of what was about to happen. So when we say, is that a 40-year thing? Absolutely. It just didn't have a name yet.
I'm gonna agree with you, Corky. I know you and I both had extensive conversations with Wayne Williams and Vince about it. They feel as if they On and On is the first house track, and a lot of DJs would agree with them. But I think you and I were, even though they may not realize it, we were very active at the time, involved in the scene, all over the place. I had been to the playground, and I was young as hell. I'd been to, the Rainbow was jumping at that time. I've been to AKAs and Janelle's at that time. I've been out to Mendo for a party where I saw Julian battle Steve Hurley, and Julian won. So there was a lot that we were witness to, and you and I were witnessing the same thing. We're both
what it is? You know what it is? Coming from our era, and you guys being in the world, you guys had the close connection with us on the west side, because you have to go further to go south.
Right.
Think about that. So if you're record shopping, you're going to the city, and if you're coming in the city, you're gonna come to the closest place you can buy those records, which would be west. So
exactly.
You either come to George's, or you're going to J&P Records, or you're going to Pep Modes, or if you get a car, you're driving downtown.
We go to imports.
Go to imports, you're going to
or State Street. Right.
Or and if you use somebody up north, you go to
Gramophone.
Because Gramophones was around at that time.
Right. And we would go to George's, and we would go to Barney's music shop.
Or Barnes.
Yeah, we go to Barney's. And then we would go to imports in State Street.
And
we rarely went to Gramophone.
Andre had the flea market on Division Street.
Right. We'd pick up stuff.
They were selling like all the DJ International 12 inches.
Yeah. And he was also selling the Lost Records stuff too. I got a few. I got a Deputy of Love on Lost Records.
But they was getting them through. Got Homeboy's name that was pressing up those Lost Records. They was coming out of. They always coming out of imports. imports.
Yeah, they was coming out.
Yeah, they
So,
like imports. They were doing that for years.
but I think that's why we have a similar recollection to what happened. And again, I'm not saying that, the guys out south. I understand that and don't get me wrong, I understand that they, hey, on and on, it was a great track. But like you and I said, we were of a different mindset. It was the B side, like you said, the DJ in 119, and we did go back and reach back and play them when we started playing.
But a lot of brothers on the south side was playing. They always not playing the on and on track. They actually were playing the tracks from the Jesse Saunders record, But we have to remember, like, I don't look at a philosophical side of history when it comes to house music. I never look at it like that. I look at it very logical in music and musicality. And we knew, coming from the west side of Chicago, and we were a little bit different. It was never, I always say we're different. We're not better, we're different. And it's just like, you got the South Bronx has a style, the way they wear their clothes, the way they did hip hop, as different as Harlem, as different as Queens. Hell, at that time, you look at LA, you got Uncle Jams, you know what I'm saying? Everything was similar to that. Culture was different. But even in Chicago, we were different. I grew up with a lot of Spanish cats coming up when I started to get into the DJ game. Started in K-Town, but my mom's moved towards Chicago Avenue and Ivy. So, of course, in that area, that's the whole heart area. And I went to Tilton Grammar School, which is Monticello and Grand. I'm around nothing but Puerto Ricans. So Mario Latin House, all those guys. I think Big Juan Perez, and a lot of those Puerto Rican kids come, not many Mexicans, but a lot of Puerto Ricans. They put me up on a lot of the import stuff. And around that time, that's when I started to hear about Ralphie Rosario.
Right.
And about him. And him coming to the Hot Mix 5. But by then, but I wasn't. But he was not the first, Spanish DJ I seen that was playing. And like I said, Big Juan Perez.
And this is '85 when
Santonio, spinning
right.
Santonio.
See, spinning Santonio. I remember him.
Santonio, a legend.
Right.
Those
they
guys.
were CRX. But like this record when Ralphie and them came out with Razzmatazz and Kill Yourself Dancing.
Matt Warren.
Yeah, Matt Warren. And you see it's Matt Warren, Ralph Rosario, Razzmatazz, Pump It Up, Kill Yourself Dancing, mixed by Farley Jackmaster Funk.
Kill Yourself Dancing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people missed that part. That Farley was involved with that.
With a lot of production. With a lot of
production. Yeah.
We're gonna clear the air there, because even with New York, you know what I'm saying, the people we're kind of like, this is no disrespect, we're claiming our lineage, and our lineage is our music, is our culture. That's like our lineage for say hip hop is, because hip hop is not 50 years old. Hip hop is way older than 50 years old. 50 years old. We give a big shout out and we say, happy birthday to Cool Herc with the 50th anniversary of that. I'm just trying to trickle everything down real quick. 50th anniversary last year to Cool Herc of his sister's party, but not the 50th anniversary to hip hop, because hip hop been going on since the Jubilee, since the, like I said, Cap Calloway, as well as house music. House music was started by black. We ain't gonna say black and gay, because kind of like you kind of shunning a lot of people. Were there gay people that played a big role in it? Yes, there were. You know what I'm saying? Was this, but then was this house music the sound of the youth? Absolutely. But it was forefathered by us. It's not a disco sound of New York. New York has its own style. It's its own thing. But what Larry Levan and what those guys were doing in the early 70s, and those girls was a beautiful thing. But house music is something totally different. When you play Your Love, it doesn't sound like a disco. When you play Mystery of Love, it doesn't sound like a disco record. When you play funky with the drums, or hell, even Move Your Body, it's not house. That's not disco. It's house music. It's its own identity, and it's something that was started by poor black people. Poor black people with no sense of ability of learning how to work a beat machine. And we're not. We're not musicians. We weren't musicians.
Right.
We know how to play keyboards and scales and bass and guitars. We don't know none of that.
It took us, and I was talking to somebody who was saying, well, y'all, they were complaining, well, y'all was just making beat tracks. I said, yeah, we had drum machines. We were borrowing from one another, man. You know, we didn't have a band. We knew, and what we knew was we knew how the Klein MBO theme sounded. We knew how Girls by Solo sounded.
Yeah.
We knew how the disco prelude, the music
bass line.
Right. So we were trying to replicate.
But even with that, I was more of a beat programming guy.
Absolutely.
And now, I mean, of course, even then, culpable the keyboard world, they always loved it, but I was more fixated with Vertical Wild Faces Drums 117 and stuff like that. And when I first heard Mystery of Love, I didn't know who made it at first. And that was just like one of the most dopest records I've ever heard.
Yeah, me too.
I heard it at a party before I heard it on
BMX.
I think 2 days later I heard it. No, the next week I heard it tweaking.
Mm-hmm.
And my uncle bought it. Like my uncle, rest in peace to my uncle, my mom's baby brother. Now, a couple years later, he was the one that was like, show me how to rap. Like triples. He would show me how to do that, and he would buy these records. And then I would go right behind him and buy them. But that Bring Down the Wall, like the Larry Heard stuff, Larry Heard.
And then Can You Feel It?
Yeah, Can You Feel It? Larry Heard brought sophistication.
Very sophisticated.
Very sophisticated keyboard work. Because before, remember, just dope tracks, dope beats. But Larry Heard came in like, well, hey, I can do this. Let's add this. Now, remember, again, we're not musicians. Larry Heard is a musician.
He is a musician.
But he was not the DJ, go to the power plant warehouse type. I met him twice, and he like, while he was doing that, Farley and all them doing, he was still going to work. He would ride past the warehouse on a bus going to work.
Right.
So, wow, interesting, And we would hear, like I said, we would hear these stories about these people, but we were not musicians.
No.
But I'm saying, and Chippy's my right hand man. That's my dog. You might see like lately, you may see pictures with me and him. Yeah, that's my little short. I call him the short big brother. So I'm taller than him.
Mm-hmm.
But him and he used to come to the crib and just pick each other's brains and talk because he started that around like 6-7 years ago, and I started doing a couple of remixes for him and stuff. He would take these, he taught me a lot of stuff. So I would just ask him, and each one of those guys all got different stories, which are so fascinating.
Yeah.
Chippy to Marshall, he's my big brother. Crazy as cat, S-H-I-T. Vince Lawrence, because he was more on the business side.
Mm-hmm.
Adonis by law, because I actually been knowing Adonis since 86, 87, because he's around the way. He introduced me to Derek Flex. Rest in peace, Derek Flex. If anybody knew the song House My Body Up, House It Up, that's Derek Flex. He's important. Plus he's one of the members of the Endless Polkas. That's why I can give y'all some stories. Brian Burke, of course, him out west, he's cool. He got cool with Brian Stingley, And I've got the other brother's name. They started Tent City. Byron was working at Barnes.
Yeah, Barnes.
He
Oh
worked
yeah,
at
when
Barnes
they did
85.
when they did I Can't Stay Away.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't crazy about that record. I have it. And
I have it too.
You can't find that record. That record is like going for some money.
Man, I used to love playing it.
Up.
I used to love playing it.
I was crazy about it.
Horrible.
Not crazy about it. But what I was crazy about, because he sold me a copy, like, what's our record? Ragtime. Not 10.
Fix It Man? Fix It Man? Oh, I used to kill Fix It Man. Because that bug get that. You'll
throw it off. But he sold me a copy of it. Farley had just played it.
Yeah, you have to be a good DJ.
I liked it because it reminded me of a dude from the 70s. Rapper.
Mac Daddy
just
dude.
Fix rap. If you need something to fix it, it's a man. And here I am. This job I got, you know, he sounds like an old school Melly Mel rapper. I like that. I still be tweaking on Byron about that song. I like
my
that.
Mom,
I love that.
My mom loved that song. She used to make me play it. You know, she always wanted to play Fix It Man. I play it. And we would just rock the hell out of it.
That's dedicated to the brothers in the back of the alley fixing on the car with a square name out like this. And man, play the record. That's me.
You had brought up when you brought up Larry Heard. And I believe Larry Heard was a drummer. He knew instrumentation.
Oh, yeah.
You could tell by how his songs were composed. Like that one Waterfall he did, super smooth song on Alleviated Records. But then we had I think Joe and Peter Black. I think Joe Smooth, I think he worked on If You Only Knew with Chip. You know, and that was a different song because it didn't sound like our normal house stuff. I know they were rocking the 909 and the 808 on that one together. And that mug just broke. We played it. It was one of the songs that people would actually ask me for that song. Not just a mix, but they wanted If You Only Knew. You know, they wanted that song. I know Benji was telling me about they tried to give Kevin them a deal with that. And
Kevin Irving.
lawyers, Kevin Irving. I'm not going to mention the lawyers' names, but we had our so-called entertainment attorneys in Chicago that screwed the deal up because they were asking for Prince Michael Jackson money. They were like, I think it was Sire Records. Warner Brothers like, look, man, this is single. You know, they was trying to get them $500,000 contracts. And basically the people at Sire told them to get to stepping. There's a few songs that came out that should have been like that. Ralphie and them, We Used to Hold Me. Pierre and them, Fantasy Girl. Mark them with Love I Lost, Mark Shapiro on them. And when they got to getting those bigger deals, we didn't know the business. So we were asking for the ridiculous. And the major label was like, okay, we'll talk to you later, basically. And we didn't have the attorneys.
Till 89 and 90, that's when you seen the labels get that sprouting.
Yep.
RCA, all of them,
Atlantic,
Atlantic, everybody came in and got and started to get a piece of house music because I explained that it went global. Me and Tyree Cooper was talking about this. He says a little bit otherwise, and that's my big book. I'm meeting him. That's me and him like freaking Frank. That's like, man. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about it's kind of big in other countries. I've seen before. My understanding and from my research, UK, one was UK.
Yeah.
Maybe France.
Particularly Manchester, England.
Or Berlin.
Yes, in Berlin, Germany.
Berlin, Germany. But by 89, 90, house music was worldwide. So, of course, because you got, like I said, you had by 91, now you got major songs by artists who are doing house music. Crystal Waters. Strictly
Robin
over in New York.
Robin S.
They're very Robin S. like I said, Strictly Rhythm, they're going crazy. The Todd Terrys, the Master Set
Yeah.
Works.
And right before them, though,
Uh-huh.
right before them, I think, well, Steve had got on Atlantic. He did Work It Out, you know.
Yeah,
But
but
the thing,
Steve
but the
McCurry's
thing
doing
was,
slow remixes though. God,
yes, he was.
oh,
But I think one of the things that also pushed it, it was 89, 88, 80, late 88, early 89. And Kevin Saunderson did Big Fun,
Big Fun
you
'89.
know. Yeah, and Big Fun and good. Well, Big Fun first came out on KMS first. They got licensed to
And
Virgin.
Virgin, and then
Yeah,
Virgin.
when they got licensed to Virgin, they
Smart,
went worldwide.
smart. Kevin was smart.
Oh yeah, he was
Smart.
smart. And
They
then
should
Good Life,
that goes back to what you said with Syra Records. Wanting to give
knowing the business. Yeah,
independence. Here, look, we're gonna start you out, but when you don't know, you don't know.
you
And
don't know.
to add to that, I was speaking about the tracks and national stuff. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. Just hold on.
All right.
Steve, I'm doing a radio interview right now. Can I hit you right back? Yes, sir. The labels at that time, like I said, we were doing a lot of truth and logical explaining. Like yo, well, think about it. I should explain this to Maurice Joshua. Like, you guys couldn't possibly been running the 90s in Chicago if you guys were getting $1,300 from a Larry Sherman or
Rocky.
a Rocky Jones,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys are now getting 15,000, 25,000 for remixes, house remixes, and you guys know you're not gonna settle for what you've been getting from these small indie record labels in Chicago, independents. So of course you're gonna go with that. So the question is, how can you hold down Chicago if you guys were doing the majors? You guys in France, Germany, California, York, we're holding down Chicago. We're holding it down.
Right.
Derek Carter, Sneaks, Traxman, Dion's, Milton, Sluggos.
Right. DJ Funk.
The Funks, the
DJ
Tragic, Paul Johnson, and all these people that's come, DJ Jess, the Cats in Rockford. You know what I'm saying? We're making music that we have Def Punk following us. We got Nina Kravitz, we got Dance Systems. We have all our other counterparts that's not a part of Chicago. We're sparking them now. The Netherlands,
Hit House.
All these places. And these guys will say, well, we kept to know you guys didn't. We did. We inspired them. So it's real crazy.
So Corky, like I said, at that time I was out in LA. So I'm asking you, when I came back, the music I was hearing was y'all music. You, DJ Funk, DJ Sneak, DJ Tragic. That's what I was hearing. That's what was being played. Cashmere was being played, of course. The few times I spun when I got back, I had to be playing y'all stuff with whatever. If I was playing Masters at Work, I had to be playing one of y'all beats up under it to push the track along for people really in Chicago to get down to it. Because what they wanted to hear was what they were calling it juking, or it was. I'm like, okay, I'm saying house, and they say no, it's juke. I'm like, no, this is house. To me, it was just jacking, but y'all were kind of pushing the line, at the warehouse or the other clubs are open, the shelter, Red Dog everywhere,
all those places.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what did you guys do? I know a lot of it was coming off Dance Mania and Underground Construction. What do you got? How did you guys keep pushing when a lot of people, when Lil Lewis and Steve were all in New York and overseas? How did you guys keep pushing everything?
Keeping the music real. Just keeping it real. Pushing the envelope of the music, because Ghetto House was just something that needed to come along to take the music and the culture, better yet, the culture to the next level, and from where it was, because it did come to a point when house music went worldwide. It was actually over hella saturated, too, super saturated, and ghetto house was very, very stripped down, in your face, to the point. But and either though the elements of ghetto house is jack tracks, it's jacking tracks. So it can be work that mother, and tracks like that, Land of Confusion, 100% This and You, a lot of the Mike Dunn stuff, a lot of the Steve Poindexter, even Farley's Funk and No Vocals Necessary, stuff like that, always in funk with the drums. These are tracks that led up to ghetto houses, how you get them, Milton, Sluggo, myself, even Jammin' Girls and Wax Masters and all those guys. And Tyree Cooper too.
Yeah, and Fast City was doing stuff too.
And Eddie, you know what I'm saying? Eddie, they was right along with us in creating these situations,
Wow. Well, man, look, I could talk to you all day, man. We about at that 45 mark. We're gonna have to do another one later this week if you have time.
I'm with it.
Yeah, because we have a lot to talk about. I appreciate you coming on. We're gonna this gonna run tomorrow. All right, I'll send you everything with
it.
My
birthday week, man. It's my birthday's Tuesday, man.
Well, happy birthday, man. We'll do something on Tuesday, man. But I appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk about this a little bit. We got a lot to talk about. Absolutely. Everybody, if you don't know, y'all know I'm working on laying down the history and documentary form of Chicago house music from the perspective of those of us who love the music and were part of the movement. I don't have a dog in the fight. I didn't produce any of the music. I just made it and I played it, and I played what people wanted to hear, and we DJ'd and we loved it, and we still do. So in that, I just want everybody to know that's where we come from. We come from a place of love. We're not hating on nobody. We're not, saying anybody. We're not trying to take anything away from anybody. All of this was part of what we did, and we appreciate it. But we'll talk more about that. We'll get into the weeds on that, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go, but we'll talk a little bit later. I'm gonna hit you up a little bit later on the phone when I get out and about. But I'm gonna holler at you. Thanks again, Corky, for coming and talk to us. I look forward to talking to you to really get more of your story. All right. That being said, God bless. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.